From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
All right, let's get the show on the road. December 18, 2018, figure4online.com/WrestlingObserver.com. It's a Bryan Vinny Show with Craig, Retro Raw and Nitro 19 years ago this week. We're starting late. Vinny got a new car.
Getting one.
What do you mean getting one? You didn't get it today?
I signed for it today. I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Okay.
I had to drive Bridget's car out to the car dealership to buy the car.
Yep.
Now there's two cars there. I can only drive one home. Tomorrow night, Bridget and I will return and get my car.
I see. What did you get?
Got a Jeep.
A Jeep?
Got a Jeep Wrangler.
Wow. Yeah. It's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it worked. It was the best car they had in my price range.
Why a Jeep?
It's the best car they had in his price range.
No, I asked, like, do you plan on, like, putting a bunch of shit in it and, like, going to the mountains?
I have gone hiking before and regretted taking the car I had.
I would have regretted that as well.
Road, yeah.
I can't even imagine taking that car. Your old car? So did you get a check for it?
I did.
Wow. How much?
A lot more than I thought.
Like $2,000?
Very close.
How in the world? My God.
I was not complaining.
I wouldn't complain either.
Yeah. Vinny's car was so broke that if he filled it up with a tank of gas...
How long is this song, God damn it?
It would have doubled in value.
Putting over Craig's joke.
$2,000 for that car.
Craig made it funny.
It's inconceivable.
Yeah, I accepted the offer.
Yeah, I thought they'd be like, we'll give you $200 for it. Something like that, you know?
I feared that.
Or like, if you give us $200, we'll just like
I wasn't going to build
take it
this
off
time.
your hands.
It had its issues, but it did get from point A to point B, unlike other cars I've driven.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Even to the end, I drove it home.
I mean, didn't you say you had that? It's like 200,000 miles on it. You'd had it for like 30 years.
I had it for 10 years.
10 years, but 200,000 miles.
Yeah,
it's a Toyota. They'll go 300.
It was a Chevy.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Never mind.
$2,000, dude. That's crazy. All right, well. Good job, Vinny.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see this Jeep.
I'll show you the Jeep.
What color is it?
Dark gray.
Ah, that's fitting.
I'm in Seattle. Nobody will see me.
Didn't go with the sunburst yellow, did you?
Hell no, you kidding?
It's the color it was, guys.
Wow. I had nothing wrong with that. That's a great color for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in a red sports car before. Not really a sports car, but it was red.
It had a pathetic weak spoiler.
Yeah, it was like it was trying to be a sports car.
It was trying to fool people into thinking it may be a sports car.
Some people would be fooled, you know.
It was a true spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It spoiled the car.
Right.
Oh, let's get going. I had jokes, but I'm not going to make
them. They're done now. All right, WWF Retro Raw number 343, December 20th, 1999.
Dude, are you all lucky that Baron Corbin's no longer GM?
So you're going to keep doing this show?
I'll say.
Yep, I'm here, everyone. I'm still doing it. It wasn't that bad.
By the way, this table's gross.
Craig, I mean this in the nice way possible, but fuck off. The table? There was human excrement all over where you're sitting right now.
I think there's some on the table.
No, it's just liquor. I was right here watching him vomit. It got all over the floor right there.
See that, Vinny?
That is not vomit.
See that?
Yes, Rob. Now I'm already pissed off. Go ahead, Rob. Where are we?
I'm glad I could piss you off more. No, to be fair, Craig, I was actually here when it all happened, and the puke did not get anywhere
near the top
maybe
of
on the
desk.
floor, maybe under your feet, perhaps, but not on the desk.
Okay.
God, $125 I paid literally to clean out right under where you're sitting. There was nothing where I'm sitting, nothing where Vinny's sitting. $125 I paid to clean that right there where you're at. First thing he says is there's vomit all over the fucking table. There's
Isn't
no
this
vomit
your
on the
carpet
table.
where I'm sitting?
Yeah, but I'm not the one that
take
has to
some pride
sit
in
there.
your carpet. Shut up.
I'm not the one that has to sit there.
Jeez.
And I'm buying a damn new couch tomorrow on top of all of this. Trying not to lose my temper, and then I have to hear there's vomit on the fucking table, or the table sticky.
It's...
Shall I have my wife bring up something we could wash off the table? Go ahead, Vinny. Where are we?
The very beginning. We haven't said anything yet. Hunter and Stephanie are having a Christmas party. For the first time, they utter the words McMahon-Helmsley era.
Yes.
Test versus the New Age Outlaws. Test had no idea it was a handicap match.
Why is
up.
Test's nose broken?
Well, they broke it on SmackDown.
Who?
They probably said. I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
So I also was not paying attention when Jerry Lawler wasn't there. Michael Hayes was on commentary. They mentioned Lawler, but didn't mention where he was.
Could he have been worse on commentary? He was as shitty as the people today.
I strongly disagree.
Just a bunch of shit that Vince feeds him.
That's true.
How many times do you have to tell us, look at Rikishi's ass? Like, I'm going to watch the show, and I'm not going to see Rikishi's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, every spot he does involves his ass. Do I really need the commentator telling me, hey, look, his ass is in his face? I fucking see that. I'm agitated now, and hot.
So the Hardys, Edge, and Christian and Terry are watching a monitor backstage, and they are, in fact, watching a monitor. The camera shows the backs of their heads, and it's pans around to show them.
Enjoy it while you can. That won't last long.
So you ever notice the Test, when he throws a punch, looks like the NXT women when they lock up?
Yeah, he throws that.
Throws a leg behind him when he throws a punch.
Yeah.
It's so odd.
Lance actually pointed that out to me, and I can't unsee it.
Yeah. So he makes his comeback, but they double team him. They take off his nose protector. They fame ass his nose, and they pin him.
What a run he's having.
The Helmsleys meet with the Hardys, Edge, and Christian. Point out
The show is exactly like the show today. These fucking guys come in and they say, we just keep doing the same damn matches over and over again.
We're sick of fighting each other.
We're sick of having
That's
the
their
same
exact
matches.
words.
So Hunter's like, well, I got a great idea. Well, let's do Edge and Matt versus Christian and Jeff. A new match. It's a new era. Same guys, just doing a different damn match.
They're shaking things up.
Whoop-de-doo.
Angle meets with the McMahons, Kurt Angle. I'd forgotten this, but in the very first meeting with Hunter and Steph, he's already flirting with Steph, and she's flirting back, and Hunter's not impressed.
There was a twinkle in her eye.
Oh, yeah, and a smile. And Hunter is upset, so he books Kurt against Viscera. This leaves Kurt upset and Stephanie confused about why Hunter would do this.
This is the longest build to an awful payoff there's ever been in history.
Well, Sting.
No, this is worse. That was at least a year. This goes on years.
Isn't it like next
It's like 2001, I think. Maybe it's 2000. But regardless, God.
So we get Matt and Edge versus Christian and Jeff. So Terry comes out with the Hardys. The Hardys came out first, and she's wearing like a shirt that's unbuttoned down to her navel.
Yes, remember this, people.
Yeah, and so I'm not even sure how it stayed on her body, but I'm watching her come down, for all intents and purposes, naked. And I'm just thinking, that's a human Barbie doll. That's exactly what she looks like.
Mostly plastic.
Yeah, and with as much motion. So they do this match. It's a moves match.
Yeah, the brothers, it's allegedly two sets of brothers. It's Edge and Christian, Matt and Jeff. And when the match is signed, they don't want to do it. They don't want to wrestle each other.
Yeah.
Then the bell rings, they start beating the hell out of each other.
They were avoiding their brothers for like a minute. And then there's like a heat on Jeff, and
Fans are bored.
Nobody cares about this.
Nope. They tried this. This is one of those things in wrestling that infuriates me. They try to get the brothers to wrestle each other. Nobody wants to see it.
Yes.
They chant boring. And so for 20 years in like 3 different companies, people try to get the Hardys to feud.
Yes.
And it never works.
No.
And they just keep trying.
So the announcers were confused about who was on whose team. I think the fans were too. Finally, Edge gets back. He gets knocked off the top rope, like over the stairs. How he cleared them, I have no idea. And Christian hits a kill switch, and Jeff hits a 450 splash, and he pins his brother Matt.
Yeah, that's in his own head.
Yeah. It's a
That's
Jeff
why he
Hardy
started
thing to
doing that senton.
do. Yeah.
It's a finish.
We have a Christmas gift for Moolah and Mae Young. It is a 3-way tag team match with the Dudleys and the Acolytes. And Hunter is sure to bury JR for no good reason.
Mullah's appalled, says Stephanie is a disgrace to the McMahon family.
The Helmsleys come out. They call Ross into the ring. He outright says that he expects to be fired. So they are mad at Jim Ross because in Entertainment Weekly, he called Vince McMahon and The Rock the greatest entertainers of 1999, when he should have said it was Steph and Hunter.
What about Stone Cold?
He seems like he'd be a good candidate, too.
Yeah.
So they bully him, they push him down, and then Hunter grabs him and threatens to break his arm again when Mankind comes out. I believe it was the debut of the blatantly cheap hometown pop. Mention the city and state you're in. Calls Steph a hoe, makes fun of Hunter for getting held back. And Hunter finally says, I'm booking you in a boiler room match. And Mankind says, I hope it's with you. And Hunter won't tell him. And then Steph slaps him, and there was no repercussions.
Of course not.
Anger versus Viscera. Steph is still...
This is a boring show.
Yeah, I'm going through this because
There's just nothing happening here.
Steph is still upset about this match backstage. And then Steve Blackman comes out. He hits Viscera with a stick, and Angle hits the angle slam for the win. And it turns out Stephanie is the one who sent Blackman out there because she calls him Kurt Cute.
Kurt Cute.
Yeah.
Glad that didn't stick.
Yeah.
That's what she called him.
Hunter is skeptical that Stephanie had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, she outright suggests that she sent out Blackman. I mean, this isn't even subtlety.
No.
It's not even like a slow build. It's like the first one they did earlier in the show, you watch it and you go, well, I know where this is going. They're just starting this now. By the end of the show, it's just like they're hammering you with it. Because you're dumb. That's what they think.
Yes.
You're so dumb that if we don't tell you exactly what's happening, like you're so stupid you won't figure it out. But then we also have to do swerves because like you're smart. You know what I'm saying?
You know where things are going.
They presume you know where you're going, so they have to swerve you.
If you know
so
where
you're
things are
surprised.
going, you won't tune in.
But you're so damn stupid that they got to tell you that Stephanie thinks that Kurt is cute. I hate this company. I'm so sick of WWE.
Acolytes versus Dudleys versus Moolah and May. The Dudleys just come out and they just start punching the old women in the face.
Yeah, choking them.
Choking, stomping them. So the Acolytes come out there. Mark Henry's watching backstage.
Mark Henry's watching backstage. He's in love with Mae Young.
They have a committed relationship.
Okay, so like the Dudleys are punching Mae Young in the face.
With their fists.
They're slamming Mae Young. They spread her legs and Devon does the headbutt to the vagina spot. He's just sitting back there. Mm-hmm. And finally, Bubba Ray sits on her face. He's in a 69 position on the 76-year-old Mae Young. The referee counts the pin. Now Mark Henry's mad. Now he runs down to the ring. What person watches this show?
I don't know.
And enjoys it?
I don't have an answer.
I can't get over this.
Stephanie unwraps a Santa doll. Hunter reveals it's Mankind versus Santa in the Boiler Room Brawl. So we had a Mankind promo about this as he's doing his promo about not wanting to fight Santa.
Yeah, but you know what? This was Foley loves Santa.
He does.
Foley is an extremely talented man.
Yeah.
Also true.
Foley somehow cut a promo about how he didn't want to beat up Santa Claus, and it was compelling.
Yes.
This is one of those problems they have. They're too stupid to figure out that it worked because it was Mick Foley. So for 19 more years, we have to have stupid Christmas stuff that nobody else can pull off, except for like Mick Foley and The Rock. This may have been the most compelling segment on the entire show. Mick Foley versus multiple Santas.
Yes, Craig.
Nobody wrote this for Mankind. He did this himself because it was something he was passionate about.
Yes.
That's the other problem with the show.
So the posse jumps Mankind, throws him into the boiler room, locks the door. Mankind notes how embarrassing it is to have been beaten up by the Mean Street posse. He finds Santa. There's an old man dressed as Santa Claus in the boiler room.
Yeah. I don't even know where to begin. So,
I guess we're supposed to
who
think
was this?
I guess we're supposed to think that was the legit Santa Claus.
In the end, I'll spoil this, everyone. It turns out this is a trap by Hunter
Yeah,
and DX.
but like this was part of Hunter's trap.
But part
to
of the
have
trap was
to hire a real Santa.
actually having the real Santa Claus there, apparently. They flew him in from the North Pole.
The trans from the North Pole was amazing.
Well, I mean, forget if it's a real Santa or not. Like he found a guy to actually be Santa just to like say hi to Foley in the boiler room.
It makes more sense if it's the real Santa.
None of this makes
No,
sense.
it doesn't actually make sense, but
He's sending in 6 men to beat up Mick Foley, right?
at least
We
all
got the
track,
Mean
yeah.
Street, all three. There were three random
3
fat
dudes.
guys that I thought were the Mean Street posse, but there weren't. So you had 3 random fat guys. You
You
had
had
the
the
New
Outlaws.
Age Outlaws, and you had Triple H.
And the old guy, so 7.
No, forget the old guy.
That he didn't
You're
throw a
getting
punch.
beyond me. So you have 6 guys that are going to beat up Mick Foley.
Mm-hmm.
You needed a decoy? That's the story we're supposed to believe here?
It was to
And
lull.
so to get a decoy, like he didn't just put Al Snow in the outfit. Like he went to the mall,
sure.
hired an actual Santa who has nothing to do with anything, and threw his ass in the boiler room? That's what happened
It
here?
was to lull Mick Foley into a sense of security.
He's in a boiler room about to have a fight.
I understand. I was making a joke, Brian.
I hate this show. But I
So-
did like, well, go ahead.
But Foley beats up most of the Santas. The one old Santa just walks away, beats up the 3 indie geeks dressed as Santa, then fights the New Age outlaw Santas. They put him through a table, but he still makes a comeback. He's beating them up, and he turns around, and they're in the boiler room. That's the bowels of the building. It's a dirty place. The power's run out of there, the furnace. That no one ever goes in there for fun, or certainly not for decorations. He turns around. There's a picture frame with a pane of glass just sitting there.
Yeah.
What? This makes less sense than the Santas. So Foley picks up the pane of glass, and there's Santa Hunter to swing his sack into Foley's face and break the glass.
Excuse me.
That's what he
Very
did.
raw Christmas.
Yes, he tells Mick to suck it. He leaves the boiler room.
The sack?
He is declared the winner. Christmas music plays, and that's
Let's
the
not
end.
gloss over this. Teddy Long walks over. Holiday music is playing. Teddy Long holds up Santa's hand and says, "Here's your winner, Santa Claus." Deadpan.
That's his job.
Yeah.
Off Hunter goes. This was the best thing on the show.
It probably was. They're just saying very little.
Yeah.
But Hunter and his friends are laughing at Mick getting glass in the face. Al Snow storms in, demands a Brahma bull rope match with The Rock.
Al snowstorms in.
I didn't even think about
I
that.
see what you did there.
He didn't mean to.
It was a happy accident. Hunter is mad that Al interrupted him, but he wants Rock in a bull rope match, so he grants Al this match. Godfather versus Chris Jericho. Match goes 2 minutes. The hose distract the ref, which lets China nutshot Godfather, and Jericho pins him.
Yeah.
Because as Brian said last week, only she wants to take the IC title.
Well, we don't know that.
That's what you theorized. And
I do theorize that, but it's been weeks now.
Yeah.
And no one's interviewed China.
No.
Like these announcers are just baffled. They don't get it. They're coming up with theories. It's like, how about someone interview her and ask her what's going on here? Get Charlie out there to ask some stupid question.
What are your thoughts?
What is your motivation?
Are you mentally prepared? I want to know why the hose, as one, got on the apron to distract the ref as their man was making his comeback.
You know what Charlie's question would be? She would say, China, is there a method to your madness? That, I swear to God, that's the question she'd ask. Because you can't ask a dumber question. Like, of course there's a method to her madness. That's not the issue. The issue is, what's the method to your madness? But that's not what she would ask. She would say, is there a method to your madness? And China would say something cryptic, and she would move on, and Charlie would look confused. Nothing would be answered. There would be no follow-up question, and we'd give up for the week.
Awesome.
This is a bad wrestling promotion.
It has been for a long time. Hunter meets with BB and Terry. Says, BB, tonight you will be with Val Venus. Terry, you will be with Hardcore Holly. I am booking the first topless top rope match.
Yep.
He explains it's two dudes doing a battle royal. Every time a man is thrown out, the woman he represents must remove an article of clothing. And the winner, in addition to having his woman be topless, or the other guy's woman be topless, gets an IC title shot on SmackDown.
Now, since we last saw Terry in the second match on the show, she has changed into a little black dress.
She put more clothes on.
Yeah.
The point is, she's regularly topless, but she's appalled at this stipulation.
Yes.
More on that later.
So, it's Val versus Hardcore. Lillian, with a straight face, has to announce it's a topless top rope match. And Terry and BB come out on stage in their slinky little black dresses they just happen to be wearing.
Yeah.
And they're pouting and very upset out of this. Val Venus, by the way, is still the prestigious European champion. In case you'd forgotten.
I had completely forgotten, and I just watched the show.
So Hunter's out to enforce these rules. And almost immediately, both guys tumble out. Hunter says, okay, take something off, and shoes don't count. So you have to take the dresses off. And neither one wants to, even though Terry's basically naked every single week anyway. Eventually they do, and conveniently they're happening wearing matching lace, silky bra and panty sets. And of course everyone cheers.
Hunter says, I am a god among men.
Mm-hmm. So very quickly, Holly throws Val out again. So that's it. Hardcore wins.
Well, actually, Holly, I believe, slid under the bottom rope.
Now
His feet touched the floor, but it's a top rope. To obey the rules here.
I didn't think this was worth mentioning.
It was worth mentioning.
I was trying to get through the show.
I just was like, but yes, he
Dude, who
won.
cares?
I care.
So Terry leaves. Hunter now orders BB to take her bra off, reminding her several times, your job is on the line.
What job?
I thought she was an EMT.
I did too. Now she's just like a hot girl backstage. When did that trend? That's like her and Stacy Keibler. They're just like, hey, you're hot. Now you're just hired to
just
be
work
hot.
here now.
Forget all that. Where's HR?
Yeah, this would not fly.
It's the 90s. There is no HR. HR is Triple H. He's Triple HR. Am I wrong? He runs the company.
I guess so. So eventually she's just reluctant, but it's her job, damn it. So she goes to take off her bra, and Hunter steps in front of her, blocks the view with his jacket, and then she covers up and goes backstage. Michael Hayes outright says, well, that's a ripoff. And that's the end of the segment. So,
Well, Hunter notes, do you see what I see? No, because you're all idiots.
And he also said they were magnificent.
So if you like women as human beings and want to see them treated as such, this pissed you off.
Sure.
If you don't care about women as human beings, but you want to see some boobs, this also pissed you off. This pissed off everyone.
A lose-lose.
Yes. This is the definition of lose-lose.
No, it's win-win because they're trying to get heat.
Heat, your favorite.
Yeah, they effectively got heat in this segment.
So they aired some recap from SmackDown. Somehow The Rock screwed Al Snow by switching signs on a door or some shit.
Sounds compelling.
This leads to Al Snow versus The Rock in a Brahma bull rope match. Yes, Craig?
Hayes said this is Rock's specialty match. Do you remember all the bull rope matches the Rock had?
This is probably the only one.
Well, he's a Brahma bull.
A Brahma bull rope match.
Here's the bigger question. Are there DQs in a bull rope match?
No.
You're swinging around a bull rope on a rope. You can choke a guy. You can hit him with a bell. Why did the referee have to take a bump in a bull rope match?
It's a fair question.
I don't know.
Ref takes a bump. Outlaws hit the ring. Rock beats him up. Road Dogg waffles the Rock with a chair. Al Snow crawls over. 1-2. The Rock kicks out. So then, Mr. Ass hits the Fame Asser. This time Al pins the Rock. Why couldn't they just do the finish after the chair shot?
I don't know.
Is it not significantly less humiliating to be pinned with a chair shot than a Fame Asser? I mean, it is to me.
You got two guys who are pinned by Fame Assers on the show.
If I had my option, it was like you can either be pinned after the Fame Asser, or you can get a chair shot to the back of the head and get pinned. I'll tell you which one I'm picking. Apparently they thought this would protect The Rock after they had Al Snow beat him.
So two other notes here. Al Snow got cool new music. Big improvement. And but the best part of this match was they're brawling and Al's choking him with the ropes, and the ref just shouts, 4 minutes! The posse spills Steph's flowers. Steph and Hunter are mad.
Well, the water spills all over Hunter's crotch
And Steph's leg.
and Steph's shoes.
You know. So Hunter calms down and says, I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to book you against 2 members of Too Cool.
Well, first he says, I'm not going to freak out, but I'm going to put you in a match. And Pete Cass goes, oh man, the Acolytes. Hunter says, no, 2 members of Too Cool. But if you ever spill water on me again, you'll face the Acolytes every night for a year. That's a real threat.
Oh, yeah. So they go to commercial. They come back. And at first, I thought this was BB, who had quickly put her bra back on and come into the office. No, it's Tori, who's just in her underwear for some reason.
She's just there in negligee.
What's going on?
I don't have any idea. Maybe she thought she was in that other match.
We were told earlier that being forced to remove your dress and stand there in your bra and underwear on national TV is a great humiliation. Tori just does it.
Yes.
That's just how she dresses. So she's pleading for mercy or something. Hunter books Kane against the Big Show, who, in case you've forgotten, is still the world heavyweight champion.
I watch this show every week, and every time the Big Show comes out as a champion, I'm anew stunned. What?
It is amazing in hindsight how
Horrible the Attitude Era is?
well, that
Not
too.
really.
That too. But we think there have been horrible champions recently, like Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio?
Well,
What are you talking about?
Not that recent, I suppose, but
That's not a horrible champion, even when he was champion.
He has a
Jack Swagger, how
he
about
was
that?
horribly booked as champion.
Sure.
In hindsight, there's many guys booked as bad or worse.
How about Jinder Mahal?
That
Well, I mean-
qualifies too.
I mean, Big Show wins.
But he's like the third.
He's a nobody.
He's a complete nobody. At least Ray was losing in main events. So anyway, Hunter books Kane versus Show tonight and says, if the Big Show wins, Tori, you must spend the holidays with X-Pac. And she protests at first, and Hunter says, you don't think Kane can win? And she shuts her mouth and leaves.
I'm glad that you described that she protested because I was unaware of that. I couldn't figure out what emotion she was attempting to emote.
I'm inferring.
Thank you.
Connecting some dots that may not have been
There's
clear.
a presumption.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The Posse versus Too Cool and Rikishi. Okay.
What a goddamn horrible match.
So the idea is the Posse were excited when they thought it was a handicap match, but now it's a fair fight and they're screwed, right? Mm-hmm. Why did they get the heat on Scotty?
I don't know.
What? Why did they have a competitive back and forth match?
It's a great question.
Forget that. Why were they wrestling?
It's terrible.
Rodney Lionheart is out to lunch. He did one of those spots where they're trying to whip him into a corner and he can't decide what corner he wants to run to. And so he chooses, but it's the wrong one, so they try to prevent him from going into that corner. And he's zigging and he's zagging.
The finish of this, all it is Sexay whips Rodney into a corner. Rodney stumbles out and gets power driven. That's all it is, right? They zig and zag and whip and whop and all over the place, and Rodney doesn't know where to go. And finally, Rikishi is just standing there. He just crosses his arms. He's just waiting.
It looked like they were square dancing.
Oh my God. And finally, Rikishi hit this pile driver and pinned him. Hunter and Steph are backstage laughing at all this.
I was laughing.
They promised the title match. They promised the title match will be loaded with mistakes.
I honest to God wish that I could have seen Hunter watching Rodney in that match. Fucking run around like a marionette. Dude. And then the main event, Big Show and Kane for the WWF title.
And if you, 10 minutes later, had forgotten Big Show was world champion again, I would not blame you.
I forgot again.
So, like a minute in, Show just grabs a chair for the DQ. Grabs a chair and hits him with it for the DQ. Mm-hmm. Why did Big Show do this?
Who cares?
Hunter says there's no DQ now.
I mean, why does he care? Like, he retained the title. He doesn't care about Tori.
Sure.
He had nothing. There's nothing on the line here.
And then they fight, and 2 minutes later, they get countered out. Now it's a double count out. And at this point, I know one cared about this, and it was all incredibly stupid, and this whole title reign is just a disaster. But God damn it, these two big mofos tried their best. The Big Show, the backdrop he took over the barricade to the floor is probably the biggest bump he took seriously in his entire career. He just went flying ass over tea kettle and smack on the pretty black mats, and he's big at this point.
JR said it looked like a 747, and honestly, in this case, he wasn't wrong. It looked like a plane going down. He was so enormous, and he flew through the air, and he fucking splattered right on his side.
Yeah.
That had to suck.
And then, not to be outdone, Kane mounts the top rope and jumps from the top rope to the floor.
Kane's doing top rope dives and enziguris. Big Show's 7 feet tall. He's got the stairs over his head. Kane drop kicks the stairs. There's a lot of cool stuff in this terrible match. And finally, Kane goes to sling Big Show over his shoulder like a British Bulldog, and he does it, which is ridiculous. But the Outlaws are there to harass Tori. So he puts
Who's in her lingerie.
Who's still just out there in her underwear for no reason. So Big Show grabs Kane, powerbombs him through an announce desk, and pins him. And this means Kane loses. This means Tori has to spend the holidays with X-Pac. And so the Outlaws kidnap her. They take her up on stage. And DX and Steph are celebrating. Why does Steph hate all the women all of a sudden?
Well, she hates all the baby faces.
She hates Moolah and May.
Yeah, baby
She
faces.
hates Terry and
Babyface.
and Tori.
Babyface.
I guess so.
You're confused, Vinny, because there's so many baby faces on the show at this point. Unlike today, where there are none.
There are none.
Yeah. Well, would you like your music?
May as well. The finishes on the show were clean pin in a handicap match, clean pin in an incredible partners match, pin after interference, clean pin in an intergenerational three-way tag match, win in a boiler room brawl, pin after interference, pin in a bull rope match after interference from two dudes, clean pin in a trios match, and then pin in a no DQ false count anywhere match after a distraction.
Cool. Hey, let's do Rob's present right now before I forget. Rob brought something here for us. I don't know why he didn't bring it on the Christmas show, but
Well, as I mentioned on the Christmas show, which of course nobody has heard yet, but the post office screwed me over, and it was supposed to be delivered by...
I vaguely remember this.
It is supposed to be delivered by December 14th, and they fucked me over, so it didn't get here until yesterday. Though, in hindsight, given the events that transpired after the Christmas show, I'm kind of glad, because otherwise this probably would have become it would be sitting on the junk heap of the finest trash disposal site in Bothell.
And hats.
Yes.
Several ruined hats.
Yes.
I mean, there's still that opportunity.
Yes. Well, it could be, but I think you're going to be...
It was a horrible gift.
I think
I mean, show my displeasure.
I think you will be pleased.
Okay.
So anyhow, I give this to you in all seriousness, because I honestly, I appreciate you allowing me to do this for the last year. I've had a great time. You guys crack the shit out of me, crack me up every week, and I love being here. But one of the things I love about this place, that your studio, is all the you can't see it now, but the blankets and the pillows that you have.
Sure, yeah, that I used to have.
Yes. So with that in mind, I give you this. I have had this in mind for, it's been almost a year now.
All right.
I saw this picture and I said I have to do this. So
While Brian is opening, I don't know.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Rob, at the
Thanks,
Christmas show,
Rob.
did I mention the gift you got me then?
What's that?
You got me a gift on the Christmas show.
Yes.
Did I mention it on the Christmas show?
You did not.
Okay, I'll mention it here. Rob got me a bottle of Pendleton whiskey.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Yes, very nice stuff. Bridget was very pleased to see
It
that.
appears to
Good.
be a pillow.
Yes.
It's the the shot when Brian legit fell out of his chair.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I did that.
Forget the setup,
I was.
but that's the exact moment when you pretended to fall out of your chair.
I actually remember the exact setup. I had done the show because you weren't here after the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And so I had sat in your chair, and you had said that somebody had messed with your chair. So you were checking your chair. Brian had decided, he thought somebody messed with his chair. So he tried to check it, and lo and behold.
I went flying.
Did you hold it up for the camera?
Well, I thought I could get on the camera here.
The camera's on you. There you go.
Yep, a little bit more.
There we go.
Perfect.
Thank you, Rob.
So that will be immortalized forever.
I'll
on
put
your
that on
couch,
my
I hope.
new couch that I got to buy tomorrow.
I would be so honored if you would do so.
Fear not, it will be there. Thank you, Rob.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Thank you very much. All right. For your Christmas present, we're not going to fire you, even though there was no audio on Sunday's
Wow.
show. We got it fixed.
That was your fault, but
Actually, I don't think it was my fault.
Yeah.
If there's audio now, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. No, there's audio now.
Is there audio in the Christmas show?
Well, there's, as far as from what Tony said, the Christmas show was fine. So
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Nita was texting with me about this whatever production snafu happened. And he's asking questions, and it's very quickly obvious that he knows way more about all this than I do.
Yeah, I don't even. He's asking me questions. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I thought it worked this way. I said, dude, I have no idea.
I mean,
I never touched any of that
This
stuff.
is why we have a producer.
Yes.
I couldn't run this computer if I had to.
All right.
I don't know what's going on. All right, let's do this Nitro show.
WCW Monday Nitro number 222, also December 20th, 1999.
I can't figure out how much I hated the show.
There was stuff to like. There was stuff that changed your life.
I feel
in a good way.
Well, that's true. I'm kind of numb to it now. I think I liked it better than recent shows, but there was stuff that was definitely stupider. I mean, that's for sure.
The recap.
Now, hold on. I want to make something clear as we do this review.
Yeah.
I want to review the show as we watched it. And, we can explain some shit a little bit later on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, the point of this is, the show opens up with a recap of Bret Hart versus Goldberg from Starrcade that literally doesn't explain anything that happens. It doesn't even tell us who the champion is now, who won. All we know is there was a match, and Piper did something. This is a very, very poor recap. The least you can do is tell us what happened, and then during the show, you can explain why it happened. The show opened, I didn't have any idea what happened. Was I smartened up soon, however.
I was able to get out of this video package that they just ripped off the Montreal finish.
There was a Montreal screw job.
2 years later.
Yep.
And somehow I didn't know that Bret was still champion.
I don't know how you got that.
I somehow. And Piper was there.
Well, did you figure out why Medusa came out with Spice?
No.
Because I read The Observer for the show, I still don't know why Medusa came out with Spice.
That was explained later.
It was?
It was?
It was.
Thank God you're here.
But it should have been explained before they came out. Another thing.
Well, what was it?
They both conspired to get the belt off of Evan Courageous at Starrcade.
Okay. Why?
I have no idea.
The fuck does Spice have to do with anything?
Now they're just friends. The other thing, last week we actually were very impressed because they had a rundown of all the matches that were going to be on this show.
They didn't this
week. We said, that's a great idea. They should keep doing that. And this week, they didn't.
Medusa at the pay-per-view became the first woman to ever become WCW Cruiserweight Champion. Mm-hmm. So Russo is just stealing his own ideas from the other company.
Yep.
She's now China.
And how did she mark this occasion? How did she note the significance of her historic championship win?
Was it wearing her belt to the ring, Vince?
I was going to say her dialogue.
Yeah, she didn't wear the belt to the ring.
I didn't see the belt anywhere.
I just want to note that she talked about her athletic achievement by saying, quote, "Women are dominating WCW with a little bit of TNA," and then she jiggled her boobs.
Yes. Women's evolution, baby.
Yes. So Buzzkill's out there for whatever reason. She challenges him to a match, and they fight.
What a match.
Medusa versus Buzzkill.
Medusa's the first ever woman to win the Cruiserweight title. So how do they celebrate this fact? They put her in the ring with a total jobber named Buzzkill, who beats the holy hell out of her, and as the match won, but Spice has taken the referee.
Yes.
Are you absolutely kidding me?
That really happened.
Spice throws a chain in for Medusa. She knocks out Buzzkill. She Germans him. She pins him. This was supposed to be like landmark for women?
Yeah.
This was supposed to be like something that we're supposed to get behind her for?
Yes.
Dude.
Tony promises a landmark Nitro. And then I wrote here, they run down the card.
Well, they did mention that Bret Hart was WCW champion.
Right.
So we did
Maybe I went back and out of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Russo's backstage. He tells his crew to be ready. That goof, Hugh Morris, is back. He books Curt Hennig versus Hugh Morris. He wants it to be Hugh Morris's last match, and he wants Roddy Piper brought to him.
He wants Curt to end the career of Hugh Morris.
Yes.
Okay, just want you to remember that.
Piper and his lackey show up.
It's Piper, his lackey, and his child.
Last week we thought this was Bart Sawyer.
It is Bart Sawyer.
Well,
they used his real name.
His name is Steve.
Yes.
Okay, Piper calls him Steve
Yes.
all over the show.
But his real name is Steve. And
All
it's
right.
Bart Sawyer.
I see.
So he's there with his son, and they're getting out of the limo.
It was like 9,
And the first thing he says is,
It's like 6.
6, whatever.
"Did you go potty? Did your mom feed you?" I laughed. This is like one of those things. How
That's real
fucking
dialogue.
ironic. The week I potty trained Paisley, Roddy Piper gets out of the limo and goes, "Did you go potty?" You know how many times I've asked that question this week? Do you need to use the potty? Like 5,000 times. I've never heard it on a wrestling show in 30-something years.
I believe you.
And this is the week that I finally hear it for the first time. It's uncanny.
So, Creative Control tells Piper to come see Russo. Piper tells Steve to watch his kid. And then he brings the kid with him anyway.
Well, I don't know if Steve was there. Steve was like carrying his bags or something.
I see.
Because Piper goes, "I need to find someone to watch the kid." Mm-hmm. And Creative Control just goes, "Leave him there." Piper says, "Clearly you're not parents." And he takes his son with him.
Yeah.
What if he needs a potty?
Curt Hennig versus Hugh Morris. Kurt's doing his entrance. And they cut backstage where the Scream Killer has apparently murdered Shane.
Okay, seriously, was this really the Scream mask? Because it looked like the Predator mask.
I didn't screen cap it. I saw a figure all in black with like a white ghostly image
It was
in his
supposed
face.
to be Scream, but anyway. They're doing this match, and a billionaire Ted comes out.
Oh, God.
Hugh Morris's dad, who's escaped, I guess, from I don't even know what. He's
Hugh
in a
Morris
gown.
has a sick old father
Yes.
who he brought to the arena in his
Why?
hospital gown.
Yeah. Or he escaped. Well, I'm not sure if he brought him or if he escaped.
But he escaped. Hugh's so unconcerned, he just tells Dad, go back and wait for a few minutes.
Sure, yeah.
This goes on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they can't just do the joke once.
No.
They got to do it multiple times because you're dumb. Just like on Raw.
So eventually, after more time spent on the crazy old man than the wrestling match, Kurt wins with the Hennig-plex.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's going to end Hugh Morris's career with that Hennig-plex. I mean, it might just be me.
So Piper meets with Russo. They made some kind of deal, but now Russo wants Piper to go tell the people that he sold out. Russo says, "I will never fess up to anything. You will take my heat."
That is what he said.
Does he know he's on camera on his own show?
Well, the funny thing was, I guess that we're supposed to think that we can see this and that nobody else can. I don't know why. I have no idea why we were supposed to be thinking that, but point of this is, he says, "Piper, you got to take the heat from me. I'll never admit I was wrong." That was a good one. And then Piper goes into this soliloquy. Now,
Before
the key
you
here,
begin-
Vinny, the
All
key
right.
here is as he's doing the soliloquy, you can hear the fans reacting to everything that he says. So it's
Yeah.
patently obvious that everybody can hear Russo. As he says, you need to go out there and take the heat because I'll never admit that I was wrong.
And it's 2018 and he still hasn't.
Now, before we get into the details of Piper's rant,
Oh, I wrote it down.
I just want to point out that we watched the Hogan-Piper rivalry show on Sunday. Piper claimed that as a young man, he was the 5th in the world in the World Bagpipes Championships. See if that fits in with the story he tells here.
So Roddy Piper says he's going to shoot with Russo, the Smarks, and the Marks. Starts screaming about his sport. He claims, "I slept on the street at 13 years old while cars drove by filled with guys looking for a little boy to prey upon. But I never got in those cars. I had morality. I had God on my side." He claims he was the youngest wrestler ever at age 15. First off, I mean, whatever. He has 8,000 matches under his belt. He's the smartest of them all. Says, "I set you up, Russo, you filthy-looking drag queen." Says, "I love the fans. They saved my life. I've never sold out until I made a stupid deal with you. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to show my son how to be a man. Then I'm going to put him in the car. I'm going to turn up the heat." I'm like, what?
It's cold out.
Gonna microwave him?
December.
Gonna have 2 security guys out there, and then I'm gonna go shoot with Russo and his 2 condom-headed geeks. Everyone goes, "Ha ha, condom-headed geeks." What was he talking about there, by the way?
They're bald.
I know, but he shot on him again? Was there another promo I forgot? I guess there kind of was. But anyway, he had a lot of passion.
I guess so.
He's a weird dude.
He's out of his goddamn mind.
Yeah, but you know what? He was the most compelling character on this program.
That's
That's
fair.
not saying much.
Then we go to Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone is here to explain the Montreal Screwjob. He says, for those of you that don't know,
Who doesn't know?
a couple of years ago, Bret Hart was screwed. Vince Russo, he says, was a writer under Vince McMahon. Remember when I said that Vince Russo was never the head writer? And he got so mad, and I hurt his feelings in this whole 9 yards. On this very goddamn show, the story is that he was under Vince McMahon. He says, many insiders claim Russo scripted the Montreal Screwjob finish that ruined Bret Hart's life.
Who said that?
No one. That is a load of horseshit. That is the biggest load of horseshit I've ever heard. He's taking credit for the Montreal Screwjob. Are you kidding me? I hope this was some storyline here, and he's not actually claiming that he came up with this idea. They recap the Screwjob at Starrcade, and, you know, I never even thought about it before, but do you realize that Bret Hart's WWF and his WCW career both ended with a Montreal Screwjob? Because Starrcade, he got booted in the head by Goldberg,
Yeah.
and that was the beginning and the end of his career. He's got like a week left. Mm-hmm. This poor fucking guy. Dude.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And he got his career-ending concussion in that piece of shit match.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So this is filled with as many possible mentions of the words WWF, Vince McMahon, Vince Russo, scripted the finish, which, yeah.
Every time people go, man, Brett was so bitter. Or when Brett himself goes, I'm not bitter anymore. It's like, this guy deserves to be bitter.
So
if ever there was someone who deserved to be bitter, it's Bret Hart. What a hand he was dealt.
So in what seriously may have been the most jaw-dropping moment of the Russo era on Nitro yet, they explain what the Montreal Screwjob was, how it was Vince Russo's fault. Then they show more pictures from Starrcade. They say last night was another Montreal Screwjob. Roddy Piper came out and said Goldberg quit when he didn't. And they're showing replays. And at the same time, they want you, the viewer at home, to pay money to buy the replay to watch it.
Yeah.
They think knowing that there's a Screwjob at the end is a selling point that will entice you to pay cash.
Do you know,
to watch
Vinny,
the show,
that later in this show, as Chris Benoit and Jeff Jarrett are on the way to the ring to have a ladder match, we are told to buy the replay to see them in a ladder match.
That happened.
I think I was told. I think I didn't recognize how absurd that was.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Oh, God. Kevin Nash comes out in street clothes.
Oh, man. Another shoot promo.
Looking like a giant
Another
fan.
good one. So he says, wrestling is like no other business in the world.
I'll say.
And I think you know what? He's right.
He's right about that.
But then he says, this is why it's unlike any other business in the world. You work 12 months out of the year.
Wait a second.
I'm like, well, that sounds like any fucking business.
That's the same.
Says the veterans spell out the code of conduct of the job.
Again, same.
That sounds like a business. One of the codes, he says, in this business, a rarity, the boys never screw the boys. Man, that's unique to wrestling.
Kevin Nash is describing a construction site right now.
He says, what you see week in and week out is one thing. Behind the curtain, it's a different story. You got the boys, and you got the office. Very different from any other business. There's the workers, and there's management. Are you aware of this? The office, he says, here in wrestling, it's all about the money. It's all about trying to make a profit.
Again.
But the wrestlers, he says, they give their bodies every night. And I'm like, you're saying this, Kevin Nash? He says the office takes, they take. And the office, to be frank, they don't give a shit about us. We have no benefits, no retirement, no disability. They don't even, he says, pay our Social Security. You're an independent contractor. You signed the fucking contract. What are you talking about? He says if the office can find a way to screw the boys to make $1, they'll do it. They don't give a damn about Goldberg. I don't give a damn about Goldberg. But what happened at Starrcade was bullshit. He said shit about 15 times in this promo.
Yep.
It's like they're trying to be edgy. So everyone's saying shit a lot. The show did a fucking terrible rating despite all the times everyone said shit, I might add. Brett broke the code. He screwed one of the boys. Brett is nothing, he says, but, quote, a piece of shit. And he leaves. Whew. Some heavy words from veteran Kevin Nash. Then they go to creative control and they go, Nash is the biggest politician in the locker room. He doesn't give a shit about anybody. I'm like, what am I watching?
I don't know.
What in the fuck is this show? Dude.
That's...
Then, I may have started taking my clothes off. This goes directly into Tank Abbott versus Jerry Flynn, okay? Tank Abbott and Jerry Flynn.
The recently married Tank
Guess what happens when they get in the ring? They get in a fight. They send out 80 guys to break them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, did WCW think that maybe something else might happen?
Well, they weren't in the boiler
like,
room.
maybe they do Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, and they'd fucking tie up and then put on a fucking chin lock. What did they expect to happen? They arrest Jerry Flynn because he got in a fight against Tank Abbott?
In what was booked as a no-holds-barred match.
Oh, I didn't even know that!
Yeah.
I hate this show. I decided. I hate it.
For a while it lasted.
I made up my mind.
For a while it lasted, this 1 minute fight was awesome.
Sure.
Tank Abbott was much greater than I remembered. So, yes, the minions from Despicable Me hit the ring, separated them.
I hope you got a screenshot of that for your next pillow, by the way. God damn it.
A Corvette arrives. It is Angry Bill Goldberg.
At least he got a nice car this week.
Yes.
Remember that week he had a shitty car? Yes. And they destroyed it?
So next week is New Year's Evil. A live Nitro, the last one of the century.
All right, I got to apologize. Roddy Piper was the second most compelling. He was the most compelling. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
Gods.
Tremendous.
Shane Douglas was the greatest heel in the world on this show. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I swear to God, was the most sympathetic babyface. Why isn't he at the Performance Center?
That's a great question.
I've never seen a more likable, sympathetic babyface. I was almost crying as the Revolution was stomping on Hacksaw, trying to get him to denounce the American flag. He's practically in tears. His hair's all disheveled. He's got his Shawn Michaels face on. He's just looking so sad.
Bottom lip poking out.
This was unbelievable.
A guy on Twitter asked me, why is he not in the Hall of Awesome?
He is now.
Okay, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan is in the Hall of Absolutely Awesome.
My dad's favorite wrestler.
God damn, he's been so awesome every time he's been on this show.
Yeah.
In 1999. I'm not even talking about like his heyday. He's in the Hall of Awesome. It's official. Fontaine?
Make it be.
Make it be.
Okay. So the Revolution comes out. Saturn cuts a promo on Tootsie Pops because everything's got to be funny now. Shane wants Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So they didn't mention this, but I think we talked about it last week. It was the Revolution versus Hacksaw and Mystery Partners in a trios match. And if Hacksaw lost, he would have to come out here and tear up the flag or whatever. Mystery Partners were the fucking Varsity Club.
Yeah.
In December of 1999. Coming back
we told you they were coming.
From out of the goddamn blue. They still lost.
Yeah.
In their re-debut.
Hell of a debut.
So Hacksaw is sad. His bottom lip is quivering. He's just on the verge of tears. And finally he says, I'm not going to rip up that flag. And Shane Douglas says, Hacksaw, how dare you welch on this stipulation? Hacksaw says, I'm not welching on anything. I lied! And he starts throwing punches.
So awesome. It was like the one time in my entire time watching wrestling that a guy reneging on a stipulation was the fucking coolest thing I ever saw. I was living and dying with every punch. So get him, Hacksaw!
He's running wild.
Hit Dean harder!
They overwhelm him, and they're beating him up, and Shane says, to hell with those jackasses and standards and practices. We're going to burn this flag. The filthy animals come out to save the flag.
Okay, as much as I love this, okay? Conan is dressed like a pimp and he's got no cardio. Kidman's a skinny geek and a wife beater, and Rey Mysterio's got no legs and he's on crutches. The heels have a fucking blowtorch. They still run for their lives. Yes. So it wasn't all perfect.
What about when they make the save and Hacksaw can't get to his feet, but he's able to grab that flag and wave it to and fro from his back?
I'm crying right now.
He's what a hero. Piper and her son are walking around. Was it Nick or Mick?
I thought he said Mick, but I think it's Nick.
All right. So Piper comes out for a promo. Says, yes, he had sold out. He's done a lot of things to Mr. T, to Jimmy Snuka, to Cyndi Lauper. But he says, I am not a phony. And I don't dig this phony dog and pony baloney. That's actually what he said. Mm-hmm. At this point, he got a promo on the WWE in 2018. Nobody wants to see this badly written garbage, he says. They want to see guys fight.
Yeah. This was another one of those ironies.
It's amazing.
Like everything that he said.
It still holds up.
Yeah.
So he said he was going to quit. He told everyone, don't hit your kids, kiss them.
Yeah. Let me go through a little
Let me
of
write that down.
First he says, I'm the real deal, I'm not a phony. He calls it a phony dog and pony act. He's sick of Vince Russo's clown baloney. These fans don't want to see BS, they want to see people fight. He says, I'm a real fighter. If you want me to do this dog and pony cartoon baloney, I quit. This is the last time I'll do anything for anybody. And then, yes, he says, everyone at home, just want you to know, Christmas, it's somebody's birthday. I want you to grab your kid Don't hit him.
Right.
Hug him. I was like, what are you talking
I
about?
wasn't going to, Roddy.
That was never my intention.
I was just about to. And Piper saved the day.
Save young Billy from a black guy.
He said, I've spent my entire life in this sport, but that's it, I quit. So his son, Oliver Twist, runs down. They hug. Then Goldberg comes out. Goldberg says, I stayed up all night trying to make sense of this crap. I didn't come to any conclusions. I'm like, I spent 20 years trying to come up with some conclusions for this crap. I still haven't. He says, there are a few guys I looked up to, respectable guys. Roddy, you were one of them until last night. I once thought those same thoughts. Roddy had a decision, and as far as he's concerned, he made the wrong decision. He sold out. Goldberg, he says, I'll never do that. And Piper just says, I'm sorry. Please don't be a phony. Bret Hart comes out. He's mad at the office. As far as he's concerned, he says this belt is vacant. He says, I'm going to go into the office, and I'm going to tell them to shove this belt up their ass. I thought, okay. So, sometimes you hear a guy go, I'm going to go into the office, and I'm going to tell them to shove this belt up their ass. Then, like, something else happens. The very next segment,
He's the fastest man alive.
Bret is in their office, and he goes, take this belt and shove it up your ass. He was a man of his word.
The way he can move. I just want to point out, before we get to the end of the show, the end result of Starrcade was Goldberg got screwed and Bret Hart was world champion.
Yes.
Everyone remember that.
Yes. So then Russo tells him, he admits, I guess this time, I had nothing to do with the Survivor Series. I was trying to make it up to you last night.
I'll always make sure to mention Survivor Series, WWE, Vince McMahon.
Well, the point is, like, here he's admitting, I didn't come up with the finish.
Okay, if he didn't come up with the finish of Survivor Series, why did he have to make it up to him?
Well, he felt bad for the guy.
Please.
I will add that right before Bret went to Russo's office, Goldberg told Piper, basically Goldberg forgave Piper and said everyone makes mistakes. So they're cool now.
Then Russo says, you and Goldberg go out there and he'll beat you up like you should have done last night. That's the match for the main event.
So the announcers talking about Bret and Goldberg say the world championship is vacant. Didn't Bret just win this thing in a tournament like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's vacant
But he
again.
vacated it.
So Heenan says the stupidest thing Bret's ever done. Why, Bret? Why? So technically, the match that followed was Mang and Norman Smiley versus Knobbs and Finlay. Mm-hmm. It was really Mang in a handicap match against three men.
Sure.
Because any warm body he saw, he tried to kill it. And Norman was getting beat up and screaming. They were all fighting in the aisle. They fought up the stairs. They fought into what was described as the Kevin Sullivan Chris Benoit bathroom. Because I guess it's the same bathroom. They brawled in there that one time. And then I watched the show last weekend. So at the time I watched this, it was the grossest thing I'd ever seen. It may have been surpassed since then. But
Sure.
They took Norman Smiley into the actual men's room in this arena in Baltimore and gave him a real swirly in a real public toilet.
Yep.
I was getting queasy. I almost did what Tom did.
I thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
I've been potty training and Tom barfed everywhere.
And they pinned Norman after this. Piper talks to his son, says, have a soda pop and stay here. Tells Steve to watch the boy.
He takes his bat and he starts banging it on the walls and goes, nothing rubber here, baby. Because they've had fake bats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's telling us it's fake, except when he's on screen.
Right. So he's going crazy. Bret tries to reason with him. Piper's having none of it. Evan Courageous versus the fucking Maestro.
You know what, Vinny? I never thought much of the Maestro, but he was not a bad worker.
It's not that.
He had a totally fine match with Evan Courageous.
He's a perfectly fine low-card comedy guy. That's all dandy. Why is there a guy playing piano and wrestling at the same time?
I don't know.
They've never offered one explanation for who he is.
He's the Maestro.
Why he wants to play piano.
This should be a self-explanatory gimmick, Vinny, like the Barbarian. You wouldn't say, why is a barbarian eating raw meat? He's a fucking barbarian.
That makes sense for a guy who then wants to get in the ring and fight people.
Well, Maestro is a Maestro.
Go down to the Seattle Symphony and see how many of your musicians there want to go get in a ring and fight people.
Well, I bet
I'm going to guess zero.
I bet you could find one.
And why is Maestro not concerned about his breaking his fingers or hand?
So, Symphony...
Because it's fake. It's been made abundantly clear on this show. It's a dog and pony show.
You know, you got me there, Brian.
So Evan Courageous is the other guy, if I hadn't mentioned that. Symphony puts the moves on him. He throws her down, but he does at least feel bad about it, which puts him up above the level of most wrestlers in 1999. And Maestro hits a knee to the back and wins.
Yeah, V-trigger.
Yeah.
Basically what?
Maestro hit a damn V-trigger in 1999.
It didn't look as good, but you're right.
That's what it was.
On paper, the same move. Okay, Russo's been around for like a month, right?
Oh, my God.
We have seen people dragged into his office. We have seen people, want to leave and
Vinny,
told not to.
we have been told guard the door.
Yes, we have seen a match that takes place in the office where the first person to leave the office wins.
Yes.
Right.
Roddy Piper comes through with his bat. He levels the office. It's just a set. It's
Yes.
been a fake office this entire time.
Yes.
What is the show?
It is an acid trip.
Yes.
I've never been on one.
Usually-
I can only presume.
Usually, I am a fan of absurdist and ridiculous.
This is beyond
humor.
absurdist, Vinny.
This is just blatantly self-contradictory. This whole show is just one giant oxymoron. So Piper is knocking down the set
Booked by a moron,
furniture.
which is an oxymoron.
He starts whacking the camera or whatever with his bat, and he's just shouting the names of dead wrestlers.
I loved you, Owen.
Adrian Adonis.
Adrian Adonis,
Gorilla Monsoon.
Owen Hart. Chavo Guerrero tries to sell a book to Evan.
How to pick up chicks.
Is this fucking Chavo thing going anywhere?
No, of course
Does he just
not.
sell shit until Nitro goes off the air?
I think Ziggler's brother wrote that book, by the way.
So Evan beats Chavo's ass. Things going great for Chavo these days. Champagne Canyon cuts a promo.
He still has his morgue music.
Yep.
It's been weeks now. He's California, Hollywood Canyon or whatever. He's got fucking morgue music.
Yeah. Oh, so he takes credit for blowing up the Triad. Says he beat up Bigelow and Page. Now he's going to beat them both up at once. So it's a three-way. Canyon versus Page versus Bigelow. I was trying to figure out why Page and Bigelow had heat. It turns out they didn't. They both hate Canyon. This was the opportunity to both beat him up. So the psychology was bass-ackwards. But it was funny. Watch them take
Dude.
turns.
All I know is when the bell rang and they did a triple lockup, I was so disgusted. Then I realized I was watching Nitro. It was one of the less goofy things on this show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Clarence Mason, whose name is Mr. Biggs, I think he had laryngitis, but they put him on the mic anyway.
Yeah, great idea.
So he's rasping. I can't understand a word he's saying. So,
Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Canyon hits Bigelow with a champagne bottle. Of course, it's a real one. He busts his head open hard way, nearly kills him. You realize that this is the same week that Goldberg nearly cut his own arm off, punching a hole through a limo window. And right around this time, Brett speeds out of the building in a car that he has to drive as the stuntman, and he fucking spins out on the ice like you did the other day and almost kills himself.
yeah, actually.
Like, I mean this in the nicest way possible. Russo did not appear to give a shit about anybody.
No.
Like, dude, these are human beings.
Yeah.
What the fuck's this guy hitting a guy with a real fucking bottle for?
I don't know.
Why is Goldberg punching through a fucking glass window?
Why is Dallas Page jumping out of the ring, kissing
Yes.
a random fan at ringside, and it's not Kimberly Page, and nobody says anything about it?
Yeah, don't... Brian, all your points are very valid. But as far as what happens in this match, is a three-way where Page takes the time to lay out Canyon, turn on Bam Bam, hit a diamond cutter. He's got the match won. He starts to leave. He goes back to kiss somebody.
Yeah.
And then he leaves for real.
Yep. What the hell did you even lock up in a triple lockup?
Why did you come out?
Yeah.
Why did you do this match? What was the point of any of this?
And then, as noted, Canyon busted a real bottle over Bam Bam's head and pinned his bloody tattooed flames and pinned him. Backstage, Kevin Nash walks.
We're alerted that Liz hit Sting with a baseball bat and broke his head. Because Sting is a fucking moron.
Here's the whole way it went down. Sting knew that Liz was going to screw him at the pay-per-view, so he switched her mace with silly string. So when she went to mace him, she silly stringed him.
Yeah. Then she hit him in the back of the head with a baseball bat,
Yes.
and she still screwed him in the end.
Yes. So everyone's stupid.
No, only him.
He's stupid. Kevin Nash versus Creative Control.
I'm running out of steam.
Handicap match. Everyone remember this. Kevin Nash and Creative Control hate each other.
Oh, my God. We got so much left.
They have this big fight. Creative Control is still the tag champs a week later. I was legit surprised. Oh, I totally forgot this. Fucking forgot this. There's no ref in this match.
Right.
It's a fight. It's Creative Control versus Kevin Nash in a fight that happens to be in the ring. But Creative Control, noble sportsmen that they are tagging in and out.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that until right now.
That's more infuriating than a false count anywhere match. The guy gets counted out.
It may actually be.
Yeah.
It may actually be worse. Just because that defied logic. This is just outright stupid.
This show sucks, I wrote. No finish.
I remember earlier.
No shit. No ref.
Earlier in Nitro, we couldn't see Jerry Flynn and Tank Abbott go at it. They had to send guys in.
Yes.
But this is okay.
Yes. What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we...
Let's at least talk about Jared and Benoit in a ladder match.
I move on. I do want to add, right before that, Scott Hall last night was supposed to wrestle Benoit in the ladder match, but he could not because he was injured.
Right.
So he comes out here on crutches, but then he's fine and uses the crutches as weapons.
Yes.
No one mentions he faked an injury to get out of this ladder match.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Lex and Liz moxing in the rafters. Benoit walks, and now we have this ladder match.
Finally. Mm-hmm. You know what's funny is as I'm watching this match, I remembered every single move for move in this match. Up until when Benoit starts climbing the ladder and it breaks.
Yeah, well,
that must have been when I hit rewind. Yeah, and I watched the first part again.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over and over
They
again.
didn't booby trap the ladder. They didn't sabotage the
Who
ladder.
gives a shit about this gimmick ladder?
They gimmicked the ladder.
The wrestling in this match was so awesome.
Benoit was so good at his job.
He gave this man the most profound beating.
I will never forget Brian and I sitting on his couch in December of '99. We ran and watched this over and over and over again.
Yep.
When it happened here, I knew it was this match, and I said, I knew the 4 spots: chop,
Yep.
whip into the chair,
Yep.
hit him with a chair,
Yep.
suplex onto the chair.
Yep.
And you know what? How many times have we remembered something that's great and gone back to watch it? It didn't hold up.
This held up.
This fucking held up.
Yep.
This was amazing.
You've never seen a guy give a guy a worse beating in like a gimmick match, but he didn't actually hurt the guy at all.
Right.
He made it look like this was the most violent ladder match I've ever seen.
I expected Jarrett's
It was
arms
a
and head to fall
chop,
off.
a suplex, a chair shot, and
a whip into the
and a
turnbuckle
whip into the buckle.
where he took his own bump.
Yes. Dude.
Just amazing. So Benoit gets a ladder, goes to climb it, all the rungs break. Somebody has gimmicked the ladder, they say. And then Benoit gets kabonged as we are now in the great era of watching Chris Benoit take shots to the head. That's fantastic. Jarrett gets a shoot ladder, and he wins. Gene accuses Jarrett of gimmicking the ladder. Jarrett says what happened to Starkey was bullshit. And then Hennig interrupts, says you need to go to Russo's limo.
Sid versus the damn wall.
This actually happened.
Yeah, it was horrible.
The best part of this,
there wasn't one.
They're brawling outside. Sid grabs a water bottle off the desk, and he clonks Wall in the head with it. There's a big splash of water. And Tony Schiavone says, Sid Vicious nails him with a bottle of water.
The only good thing about this was, and there was one good thing, but it was after the match, so I don't feel I'm wrong. Berlin interviews for the lame DQ. Sid takes one look at Berlin, and he does a Hulk Hogan. He points right at him. And Alex Wright sells it, and then Sid powerbombs the shit out of him.
He actually did.
I loved it.
Sid and the Wall shook hands.
Yeah, great.
Forming a horrible union. Jarrett gets news that it's gonna happen tonight. Russo couldn't tell him it's bigger than both of them. Tony Marinara talks to his dad, who's there this week.
Chuck Zito.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
Yeah.
They have Disco, calls Disco Glenn. There's some horrible buzzing going on in this segment.
Dude, it is horrible, but like they're asking Disco, like, why do you keep running? Why do you keep fighting the guys? Disco says, and I quote, they tried to put me in a body bag. What was I supposed to do? He's not wrong.
No.
Fair point, Glenn.
Boss says, I like you, but you're pissing me off. I'm going to give you 2 choices. Here are the 2 choices.
Yeah.
You can join the family and do what you're told, or die.
Join the family.
And I guess
that's what he said.
I guess Disco gets a week to think about it because they cut away. We never got the.
Why does it need to think?
I want to know, why do they want Disco in the family?
Hell if I know.
What does Disco have to offer?
Well, if you've watched the skits, everything.
That's true.
He's outsmarted the other two idiots at every turn.
That's true. I guess that's true.
He'd be the brains of the
He
operation.
would be the best man in the crew. All right. Brett is stretching. Goldberg is putting gloves on. Harlem Heat and the goddamn Varsity Club.
With Leia Meow.
With Leia Meow.
Yeah.
So Leia Meow comes out. She has a graphic. It reads in clear letters, Leia Meow.
Mm-hmm. The former Kimona Wanalea.
That's what she
from
was.
ECW.
That was not on the graphic, Craig.
No.
But it was there. So Kevin Sullivan sits down at the announce desk, and Tony says, hey, what's the name of your cheerleader? Kevin says, I'm not going to tell you. So they don't watch the show either.
No.
So the Varsity Club, who are randomly back together after
They're the Lucha House Party.
decade. Yeah, they are, in fact. Sullivan leaves to do commentary. He tags in, wrestles. Steiner tags back in, Rotunda tags in. They just take turns doing it. No one cares. Kevin on Sullivan refers to Rick Steiner as Robbie Steiner.
Yep.
Yeah.
His real name.
There's fucking chin locks in this match.
Finally, Midnight shows up. Stevie tells her to hit the bricks, even though he's winning. And Rotunda rolls him up from behind, pins him. I felt like I've been watching this show for 1,000 years at this point. I feel like that's still right now. Two geeks hit the ring. I swear to God, I thought, what are these fucking fans doing here? Why hasn't anyone run him over yet? It's PG-13.
If I was stunned to see Varsity Club win a match on Nitro in December of 99 when they got attacked by PG-13... Seriously, did somebody Photoshop the network? Was this sabotage? This cannot have happened.
It happened.
PG-13 attacking the Varsity Club on Nitro.
Yeah.
This sounds like somebody put Memphis and Jim Crockett and Nitro in a blender, and this popped out on accident.
That's what happened. Daphne,
Speaking of weird segments,
Daphne is now randomly. She's like Stacy. She's like BB. Like a couple of weeks ago,
she was a fan.
She was a fan. Now she's just part of the damn show.
Sure.
The Misfits are hitting on her. She knees them in the balls. I wrote kisses him. Apparently, she bit his nose.
I thought she kissed him too, but they said, yeah, she bit his nose off.
She screamed.
David is now with Daphne.
Yeah. They attack the ring announcer. They
Put the worst boots ever to the guy.
Yes.
So Vampiro comes out. They're doing this verbal back and forth. David Pencer's on the ground, deceased. They're just talking over his corpse. So Vamp insults David, and then just turns his back, and David attacks him with a crowbar. What a dipshit Vampiro turned out
He
to
was
be.
an absolute moron.
Ever turn your back on a man with a crowbar?
Especially after you insult him.
Yes.
So the Misfits run out. They get attacked. Nobody cares. For the life of me, there's not a human being in all the world in 99 who would have cared about David, Flair, and Daphne feuding against Vampiro and the Misfits. Mm-hmm. There's no one to like here. There's no one to cheer for. And there's no reason. We don't know why they're fighting even, really. The medics tend to the Misfits backstage.
Gene with Bagwell.
Yes.
Gene says, hey, tell me about the rumors of you and Kimberly. He tries to shut him up. Gene says, if you leave without saying anything, you're admitting your guilt. So then Bagwell starts going, well, she's a 10 on my scale. Gene says, I want to know if you've been there. He says, well, if DDP wasn't married to Kimberly, Buff would put his stuff all over her.
That's gross.
What?
He said that.
What?
He said that, and then as he's laughing and smiling, his sunglasses randomly pop off like a champagne cork. It was amazing. So he's talking about, like, in graphic detail about having Kimberly in bed. Finally, Dallas Page's music hit. Bagwell is stunned. Bagwell's caught off guard.
Oh, shit.
At this talk about graphically explaining how he fucked a man's wife to bring that man out to kill him. Now, before all that happened, the first part of this promo, Bagwell's putting himself over. He says, I have won 4 world tag titles with 3 different partners. That's never been done before. In this very company, Arn Anderson won 5 titles with 4 partners.
Huh. Well, that's not 4 with 3.
I suppose not. Also, in the background, somebody's holding up a sign reading www.consensual.com. And a security guard took it away. No, I did not type that into my computer.
I'm not typing it in. No. Rob's on the...
Rob.
He's on the case.
Make sure you put on private.
You're going to send the cops here.
Private mode.
I'm not an amateur, Vinny.
Piper says goodbye to Sid. Sid wishes him a Merry Christmas.
Okay.
I like what Sid said to Nick, "See you, little kid."
All right, Rob, the way you spell it, U-N.
Would you get out of here? So, Piper says, I want you guys to know, he's speaking to the locker room, including PG-13. I want you guys to know you're the best group of athletes that have ever come along this business. You must demand more. 2 years from now, he says, you'll all be burned out. They'll take you in the back and put a bullet in you. Wow! Look at that guy. He says, I'm no genetic freak, but I had balls. I never saw my kids take their first steps or say their first words. I sacrificed my family to build this business. My kids cry every time I leave. This generation can do one thing my generation never could. Stand up, he says. Stick together. Form a union. I cried with laughter. And
Spoiler alert, no union was formed.
Said Merry Christmas and left. Yes, Rob, you're dying to tell us what you found.
So, you're all going to be horribly disappointed. There's nothing on consensual.com.
I'm not disappointed at all.
Just an ad to say this domain is available to purchase. So, anyone who's an aspiring entrepreneur,
if you were that guy,
consensual.com,
hey, let's buy
available.
it and point it to WrestlingObserver.com.
All right. So, Bret Hart, who had screwed Goldberg and kept the title, in a match with Goldberg for the vacant world title. Ref gets bumped. Hall and Nash attack with baseball bats. Bret takes one. Bret attacks Goldberg with a bat as well. So Piper runs out. Piper attacks Bret. He lays on Goldberg. The ref recovers. The ref counts 3 and awards the belt to Bret.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
The ref was down, and apparently the ref was confused, and when Piper laid on Goldberg and would not get off, the ref was just like, I'm going to count the pin. He awards the title to Bret Hart, who Tony announces is the new champion. And at first I was like, no, he was the champion. Are you confused? You thought Goldberg was a champion? Then I realized he had vacated and won the belt back on this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He screwed Goldberg to keep the title, just so the next night he could screw Goldberg to win the title.
Well, now he's a 2-time champion.
What the fuck?
This is a bad show.
This makes no sense.
It's awful.
So Jarrett runs out, hits Piper with a guitar. They spray paint NWO on Piper and Goldberg, and this was funny.
So hold on, before you get to that, I think their idea was Bret went to all of this trouble so that he would convince everyone that he was a babyface, so that they could lure Goldberg into a trap. Did we really need to lure Goldberg into a trap?
The
trap was they went to have a match and dudes ran in and beat him up.
Yes.
That's your fucking trap that you had to lure him into?
Yeah.
This is a poor television show.
This is a lot of work for little reward. So they go to spray paint NWO on these guys. Now you recall a year or two ago.
Yeah, the NWO.
Yeah, they're back. If you didn't know. And it's Bret and the Outsiders and Jarrett. So a year or two ago, the NWO was running wild, and they spray painted Goldberg. And at the end of it, just for fun, they spray painted his head.
Yeah.
And he was really, really pissed. Fast forward to this event, when they go to spray paint the NWO logo on him, and they get the N in his chest and the W in his belly, and then they are very, 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 very careful to spray paint the O on his leg and not his trunks, so they won't ruin his gear and give him reason to murder them. I laughed and
Stayed
laughed
the hell
and
away
laughed.
from his head, too.
And his head. So, yeah, everyone, the NWO is just back.
The band is back together. They play the NWO music.
This whole fucking thing was a scheme put together over the past, if you go back 2 months, it goes back to the Outsiders. The Outsiders trying to interfere when Bret won the title in the first place. Why, when Bret won the title in the first place, didn't they just say, hey, we're the NWO now? Why was it a secret?
Because he had to do a swerve.
And the epitome of WCW in 99, Bret picks up the mic to say something to the crowd, and the mic doesn't work.
So, I mean, I want to mention we should not gloss over the fact that somebody asked me a couple of days ago, are you sure that Bret got that concussion at Starrcade because he wrestled on Raw?
Right.
Or on Nitro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
He got concussed at Starrcade. Then he wrestled the next night. Then he does like a bunch of house show matches.
I was on the planes.
He starts doing hardcore matches with Terry Funk. And yes, by the way, any moment now, Terry Funk is back. I think he shows up like next week or something like that. So yeah, this was the beginning of it. And if you watch this show, like, Brett got his promo out, but he doesn't look good in that main event.
No.
He looks messed up because he was messed up. So we are witnessing week to week the end of the career of the great Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Because they threw his ass in the ring and he just kept wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, here's your music, Vinny.
I hope it goes through like 8 times. This may be a record.
This band is back together again.
The finishes on this terrible show were pin in an intergender match after distraction in a foreign object. Pin after like 8 distractions by a crazy old guy. No finish due to run-in by security. Pin in the bathroom after swirly. Pin after distraction. Pin after a champagne bottle shot after a third guy had the match won but just left. No finish in a handicap match where guys were doing tags with no ref. Win in a ladder match after the first ladder was gimmicked. DQ due to interference from a guy's own manager. Pin after a guy was distracted by his own valet or manager or whatever midnight is. Pin for the world championship when a guy who is not in the match pins a guy who is in the match, but then another guy who is in the match wins.
Wow. I cannot properly express how happy I am when Tuesday night's over. And I got to go watch SmackDown next. Can you imagine? So there you go, everybody. That is Retro Raw and Nitro.
Are you doing the Filthy Tom show tomorrow?
Yes, obviously.
He's been eerily quiet.
He has been eerily quiet.
I'm sure he's recovering. But still hungover.
We'll talk to him tomorrow. And, yep, we'll do SmackDown tomorrow and all the other good stuff. Not sure what the holiday schedule is going to be, but make sure you sign up at video.frowonline.com because the Christmas show will be up. I've been told it has audio. So we're good to go.
It may be the wrong audio.
Yeah, it could be the audio for Sunday's show.
It's just Cliff playing guitar for 2 hours.
You didn't take my word for it?
Hey, listen, I got the audio here, so it doesn't matter if we have audio. I can edit this one in, so we're good. The Christmas show is good, everybody. It's all you need to know.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's complete.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't say it's good.
Good or not. I mean, I seem to recall it was pretty good.
I had fun.
The aftermath was no
I had
good.
fun until the camera stopped.
Yeah. So anyway, check that out, everybody, and that is it. We will talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.